Greetings, clients. I want to do a video in the spirit of the holidays, um, maybe talking about something that might be a good gift for your children or your grandchildren. And I wanted to do this because most of my clients, your kids, your grandkids, they're going to inherit some money. Okay. And one thing is to inherit money, but there's a statistic that in the United States, the average life expectancy of an inheritance is 19 months. So if they inherit the money, but they don't understand, they don't inherit the knowledge of money, there's a good chance it won't last very long. There's a saying in the industry that the son of a wealthy man is not the father of a wealthy man, meaning it's really hard for wealth to endure for 3 generations because, maybe the grandpa, he built it from nothing, and maybe the son saw him do it, but the grandkid was born into wealth, and he didn't learn what it takes to make it and keep it. And oftentimes that's why they say the son of a wealthy man, the 3rd generation, is not the 2nd generation, is not the father of a wealthy man, which would be the 3rd generation. So, and there's another saying that says that if you ever come into $1 million, you better become a millionaire real quick, because otherwise it might not last you more than 19 months if you don't know what to do with that money. So how do you teach your kids about money? Because they're going to get some. So here's an idea, and because it's Christmas time, I think this might be helpful. It's something I did for my kids, and I'm doing for my grandkids too. So, and the technology is available to do it now more than ever. So here's what I would recommend. You could open an account like on Robinhood, for example. It's free, and you could buy fractional shares of stock. And I'm going to recommend 10 companies that your kids, even small kids, would know and love. Okay, and by owning them, they could learn a thing or two about money. So here's the list of companies that I would recommend for this. First one I'd probably recommend would be McDonald's. Why? Because every kid knows McDonald's. Even when a 2-year-old, I don't know if any of you have driven in the car with a 2-year-old sitting in the back seat, but they see those golden arches, right? And they know that's McDonald's, and there's for French fries there or whatever, right? They can't even say McDonald's, it's just Donald's or whatever they call it, but they know that company. It's a company they know and love. Another one would be Target. When my kid was little, we'd drive by the Target, and he'd be like, Target, because he wanted to go to Target and have me buy him a toy, right? Because he knows there's toys in Target. And I was like, how did he know? I said, this kid must know the directions and what street we're on and this and that. But then we'd be in another city, we'd go by a Target, and he'd be like, Target. I'm like, how did he know? And I figured that the little kid could read. He couldn't read letters, but he could read where there's that red circle with a red dot in it. That's Target. And he knew the logo, right? Another company that kids know and love, Disney. Disney, back in the day, people would get the certificates, because the stock certificates of Disney were real pretty. They had Mickey Mouse and Snow White, and they had all the characters on the stock certificates. But that's another company that kids would know and love. Apple is a company that the kids know and love. When my daughter was probably 9 or 10, I signed her up for volleyball one year, and we showed up in the first day, and they're like, oh man, we don't have a coach. There was like 8 or probably 6 or 7 little girls and no coach. And they're like, would any of you guys be a coach? And I don't know anything about volleyball, but the kids needed a coach. So I coached them that one year. And the first thing they said is, okay, you need to come up with a name for your team. And so I asked the kids, what do you want to name your team? And my recommendation was the Ligers, because I think that was the year that Napoleon Dynamite movie came out. They didn't like that. And this is the name the little girls picked. The Nanos. That's the name they wanted their team to be called. I go, why the Nanos? They're like, like the iPod Nano. So they were so enamored with that product, the iPod Nano. That's what they wanted to name their team. So I think Apple would be another good one that kids know and love. And along those lines, maybe Amazon, because they know that Amazon, they could buy stuff and they could get stuff there. Another one, perhaps a family store that you go to, like Costco. We're not really a Costco family, but some families are Costco families. Might be a good one. Another one might be Tesla. I saw this ad, and it was a dad with his daughter, and they were playing cars. They were playing Hot Wheels and stuff, and the dad got the Hot Wheel, and he was like, vroom, 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 vroom. And the little girl says, no, daddy. Because the little kids, right, they're into EVs. Dad's into the car that goes vroom, vroom, but the little kid's into the car that makes no noise. So another one could possibly be Starbucks. Every time I go into Starbucks, what's in there? Moms with their kids. So that might be a company that the kids would know and love. Another one would be Nike. When I was a kid, I always wanted Nikes, and my dad was too cheap to buy them for me. But I got a job at an ice cream place, and the first thing, guess what I did with my very first check? I bought me a pair of Nikes. But I had one pair of Nikes, and my kid, the next generation, he has multiple pairs of Nikes. As a matter of fact, when he was in high school and stuff, he'd go to school and he'd be wearing Nikes shoes, Nike socks, Nike shorts, a Nike t-shirt, Nike ball cap, and a Nike backpack. And inside the Nike backpack was another pair of Nikes. So the kid was probably $300 or $400 worth of Nikes that he'd wear to school every day. So I think Nike is a good company that the kids would know and love. And maybe Home Depot, if the kid goes to Home Depot with dad. So I think that's 10. We said McDonald's, Target, Disney, Apple, Amazon, Tesla, Nike, Costco, Home Depot, and Starbucks. Yeah, that's 10 companies. So what you could do is, the amazing thing about Robinhood is fractional shares. So you could put $100 into account and put $10 into each of those, or $1,000 and $100 each, because you can buy fractional shares, and whenever the kid gets some money, or you want to throw some more in there, but especially when the kid gets money, say, hey, you got that $100 for your birthday. Why don't you put some into your account? And this is what we would do with what I do with my kids. We get the monthly statement, we sit down and say, let's look at the companies you own. And so they knew they owned Target and McDonald's and Apple, and so when we'd be driving around, the kids would be like, hey Dad, do we own that? No, we don't own that. How about that one, Dad? And that one would be good. And so they knew which ones they own. We know that one. Yeah, we own Disney. Well, let's go to Disney. And you could go to McDonald's, and you're sitting there, and you say, well, you could ask the kid, how's your business doing? And what you want to say is, well, the parking lot's full and there's a line, and product is good and the service is good. And little by little, the kids learning about business and stocks, and about buying and owning and holding on to great companies, as a buy and hold strategy. Because I think a portfolio of those 10 companies, it's going to go up and down. So that's another good lesson that the kids could learn, that it doesn't always go up. It goes up, it goes down, and some go up and others go down. But over time, I think over a 10-year period, I think a portfolio of those 10 companies would be worth more in 10 years than it is today. And it would not only giving the kids money, but you're teaching them about money, and before you know it, there's maybe enough in there to get them to college, and also learn a valuable lesson about money and business as you get those statements. One of the companies that my kids owned when they were little was Vans, the shoe company Vans. And I took my daughter, she was maybe maybe 5 years old. Cause I think she was 5 years old. She was in kindergarten, and I took her to the annual meeting of Vans, and there wasn't a lot of people there. So here comes this guy with his little kid, and like, yeah, she's a shareholder, and so am I. So they let us in the meeting, and we sat in the annual meeting, and about a week later we got this thing in the mail. And she met the CEO of Vans, uh, and who could not fall in love with an adorable little 5-year-old kid. And about a week later we got in the mail a pair of custom Vans just for her, and with a little note from the CEO, like, thank you for attending the annual meeting of shareholders. And they were, the print on them was like flying pigs, like when pigs fly. So she had a custom pair of Vans that she wore to kindergarten. But so yeah, I think it'd be a good idea for your kids, your grandkids, throw some money into one of those accounts for them, and use it as a teaching opportunity to teach them about investing and stocks and money, and market volatility, long-term growth, quality businesses, and so let them know that, hey, when we go to Target, you guys own this company. When we go to McDonald's or the Nike store, or when we get them their Apple products, and Home Depot or whatever, Starbucks, hey, we own this company. We're helping this business prosper, and take a look at the business and see how they're doing, and be encouraged by that. So there's a Christmas thought. Hope you guys have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.